Welcome to Botanical Trails Through the Juniper Forest. I'm your host, Brian Heater. Each week, I'll have a different guest join me to explore a pair of interesting gins. We'll chat a little bit about the gin and the distilleries, throw in a bit of trivia, hopefully laugh a bit, and then we'll go off the beaten path. Although I say that this is a podcast about gin, really this is just an excuse for me to spend time with my friends. But that'll just be our secret. Okay, let's start exploring. My guest for episode 15 of Botanical Trails is Jon Kuipers. Jon, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Didn't realize you've had 15 episodes.
Yeah.
Or I am the 15th.
You're the 15th.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So congrats on that. So
nice.
So today we are going to try the favorite gin and tonics of Barack Obama and Elton John.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Are you saying that you look like Obama and I look like Elton John?
Exactly.
Oh, that's not fair.
For our few friends who
you got the better one.
Who know what we look like, that was just for them. Actually, no, there's not really a theme for the two gins today. Outside of, I think they're both really tasty gins.
Okay.
So the first one that we are going to enjoy is Gray Whale Gin. And you introduced this to me, if you remember,
I do remember.
A couple summers ago.
Yeah.
So you brought this over, and I am definitely a fan of it. So let's give this one a try. Cheers. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you. Just like I remember it.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice and smooth and
It's
tasty.
really fucking hot outside, so... Oh, excuse me.
Oh, you're fine. So, yes, it is
Is this a family broadcast? Okay.
All the kids I know who might listen to this, their parents swear on them all the time.
I like to curse, so warn me now.
Totally fine. So
yeah, it's 90 degrees outside, and that's how I look at a gin and tonic.
Yeah, it is quenchable.
It's great after
tasty.
a hot day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this gin, Gray Whale Gin, it appears from the research I did that it came out in 2018.
Okay, so it's relatively
about
new.
4 years old. The gin itself was inspired by the sight of a migratory gray whale. The two owners of the distillery are married, and they were on a camping trip. And I think they saw this whale migrating off the coast. And
so they decided to create gin because they saw a migrating whale.
Well, they were both somehow involved with, I can't remember, restaurants or something. And they were talking about, I think, wanting to do a gin, if I remember the story correctly, something like that. And I think this is sort of what gave them that inspiration. So the botanicals that are in it are forged along the migratory path of the California gray whale.
Did you say forged or foraged?
Foraged. I probably said forged. It's probably because I spelled it wrong on my little note here, but it's foraged.
Gotcha.
And if you look at the bottle, there is a tail of a whale on the bottle.
Yep.
But there's also kind of like the coast of California, like down the tail.
Did not look at it that closely.
I didn't either until I read this. And if you look at the 6 dots on the tail of the bottle, so it kind of like goes down the coast, that's showing where the botanicals are foraged from.
Interesting.
And they there's 6 of them, and they're all listed on the bottle right on the front. So it includes like almonds, sea kelp, and fir tree needles.
So that's more thought put into it than what I put into it. Was it a birthday gift? I can't remember. Why did I?
No, you come over and we'd have gin and tonics, and one day you were just like, hey, I wanted to get something, and this looked interesting, and you just grabbed it. So there was no like specific rhyme or reason. We just
trying to remember. I know why I would pick whale tail, because I'm certain that I was thinking about whale tails in general, like low-rise jeans, underwear sticking up way too high.
Gotcha.
Girls of all shapes and sizes wearing their whale tails. That's probably what happened.
The distillery for the gin is called Golden State Distillery. It was founded in 2016 by this husband and wife team. But from what I can tell, the gin appears to be their only current spirit. They're based in Manhattan Beach, California. I really couldn't find much on the distillery outside of 1% of all the profits that they derive from the Gray Whale Gin goes to environmental causes.
Well, that's sweet.
Yeah. So that is...
So Johnny did good with
the
this
Gray
pick,
Whale.
evidently.
Oh, yeah. It's
If that's their only spirit, too, then maybe they're paying more attention to one item.
Could be. Yeah.
That might be why it tastes so great.
It tastes really good. I mean, I definitely enjoy it. So, now, you went to Alaska, was it about a year ago? Was it last August?
Yep.
Did you happen to go, like, whale watching or anything like that?
No. The seas were not great. We had a fishing charter.
Okay.
That was canceled at 4:45 in the morning.
Because the weather was just so bad.
Fog, high seas. So it turned into more of a hiking adventure. And I have pictures of myself with just pouring down rain. A couple of great things happened on that trip. Went into a random diner, which I believe was in Seward.
I've been there.
Yeah, the random diner had my very first porn stash. It was National Geographic's from 1960 on to, like, today. And that's where I saw my first boob.
Oh.
It was a National Geographic.
There you go.
Yeah, so I refer to that as my very first porn stash. Second thing, hiking at a gold mine at the top of a mountain, abandoned, came down, and it's pouring down rain. There was a gate to get up for vehicles. You could walk up the trails if you wanted to. And there was a young man outside of a car, windows up, car running. He was locked out of his car. And we're miles away from anyone. And he had no way to get into the vehicle. And I had to look around, things around me, and I found a hose clamp around a cement post.
Okay.
So I took that out, unraveled the whole thing, and jimmied into his window. So, like, I got to break into a car, going back to my Muskegon roots. Jimmy into a car with a hose clamp to help this random traveler in Alaska get into his vehicle. But I don't think I unlocked it. I think he had somebody coming, or I was very close to unlocking it. I don't think I did unlock it.
Yeah.
But I showed him how you could do it.
In high school, I
was proud of myself.
Yeah. In high school, I learned how to unlock a car with a close, like a... Yeah, close hanger, right?
You just take a screwdriver, you pop this part open.
Well, I didn't do that. It
separates the door by a good 1/4 inch. You put whatever you can, like metal, whatever's going to be long-reaching, pull the handle, or you pull up on the lock,
you would use the hook from it, and you would, like, pull it up.
Yep.
And I learned it from this kid. I think it was Joe Bravada. And then, literally, like, a few months after I just kind of learned this from him, my buddy Greg, who's actually just the guest on the last episode, locks the keys in his car, and I'm like, hey, I think I can do this. And so we went and got it, and sure enough, like, I got it, and he was like, that's amazing, do it again. And he locks the door and slams it again before he grabs the keys. And I was like, what are you doing? What if I can't get it again? Well, luckily I was able to, and that was the only time I ever had to do that, and you definitely could not do that, like, on cars these days.
Maybe shouldn't be proud of this, but given the right tools, I can get into a car.
No, I think that's a good skill to have. You never know when you're going to have to.
Right. Why pay $75 for somebody to come do it for you?
Now, I've been to Seward as well. My Uncle Dan was in the Air Force, and he was based up in Anchorage.
Okay.
And in 2000, went up to visit him, went down to Seward, and we went out on, like, a sightseeing boat thing to, like, look at wildlife. Didn't see any whales or anything, which was too bad. But while we were coming back, like, another ship in this fleet for this tourist company ended up seeing, like, a pod of orcas. And I just found out.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and I just found out, I had no idea. Orcas are actually the biggest dolphin. They're not whales, they're dolphins.
Didn't know that.
I didn't either. And they're called killer whales because they, like, hunt whales and kill them.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah. So that's where they get the name.
I just traumatized my son by watching One Planet, and killer whales were tossing seals up, like, juggling them around in the air, and he's like, why is he doing that? It's like, well, that's going to be food eventually. Well, why doesn't he just eat it? Like, I don't know. He's just beating the shit out of the seal for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and now
there's the soothing sounds of David Attenborough in the background.
Well, and now there's that.
The whale will, like, beat up this seal until he can finally digest it.
Well, now there's this, like, pod of dolphins, like, off the coast of Spain that's attacking boats and stuff, like, hitting their rudders and nearly sinking them.
Dolphins?
Orcas. Like killer whales.
Orcas.
Yeah.
Orcas attack. It's interesting. I've seen that old video on YouTube where the orca just shoots out of the water and blasts a person who is kayaking somewhere. One of the many reasons that I just won't go into the ocean. There are large animals, so I just don't go.
Yeah, and some of them would eat you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like putting myself into a chance where something in the wild could, like, kill me.
I just realized you're probably going to have to keep me on topic because I go all over the place.
That's fine. There's no set topic.
Okay, perfect. I am the worst at that. And you brought, like, one bowl of nuts?
Yeah, they're like little cocktail peanuts. I don't know. I just like to snack on them while we're having a chat. They're real good.
Are these D's nuts or my nuts?
They're like Meyer nuts?
I meant like D's nuts. Got 'em. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I've only sipped like half of this. I'm already going off page.
Well, you're probably dehydrated from golfing in like 95-degree weather yesterday.
Yep. Well, no, that's totally true. I had 2 waters off the bat, 3 waters while on the course, and as soon as I got home, showered, drank some more water. So it wasn't like a binge drinking golf event. It was just being out, trying to get outdoors, trying to celebrate a day off from work, and it was just a great day of golf.
That's good. Nice.
That's why my face is so red today.
Yeah. No, the last 2 days have been brutal. I'd never do it, but the past 2 days, like, I've gotten up and done, like, my workout when I'm, like, outside, like, first thing, just before it gets super hot and terrible out. So, because otherwise it's just miserable.
It has been. Yeah. I only mowed the front of my lawn the other day, so my neighbors wouldn't bitch because it was so hot.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't going to go to the back. I was like, fuck it. I'll just make it look great for the people that are really concerned about it.
And since we got that rain like a couple days ago, it's just been like so humid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It has not been fun. So, we had talked about in segment 1, I would go first for gin trivia.
Okay.
So we will let you ask the question.
Okay. You've not read these before?
No. What? No, I do not do that.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, that's cheating.
Right. I'm not going to do that.
I feel like this is an easy one for you.
Well, I hope so.
In which century did gin arrive in Britain?
Oh, man. In which century did gin arrive?
You have a choice of 21 of them. Which one?
I think it arrived in the 1700s, so that would be the 18th century, so I will go with the 18th century.
Close. When you said 17, I thought you were going to nail it. It was the 17th century.
Oh, man. All right.
Gin trivia. This is specific to gin. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yep. My buddy Jerry snagged those, and we thought we'd use them, and so...
So why are they asking gin arriving in Britain? I mean, is that where gin began?
No, it came from... my guess is they're saying it came from the Netherlands, which would be... It's like Geneva,
really?
Or Geneva, Genevieve. Yep.
I'm Dutch, so there's some pride there.
Yep. And then it started to get more popular in England because they were fighting a war with France, and they had been drinking a lot of not wine, but something else that comes out of France.
Brandy?
Maybe. And they were like, hey, let's not support the French. Let's start drinking our own. And they just started like making their own gin.
Very similar to why people are drinking Coors Light now instead of Bud Light.
To some extent, yeah, exactly. So, and it just started to become like more and more popular. And then then they started passing these laws because they thought it was out of control. So my guess is that's where they're saying it came from.
Okay, because I guess I always had the inclination to believe that gin is British. So
I think it's that they just like it so much, and they sort of, to some extent maybe perfected it and came up with some different styles and like things of that nature.
Okay.
And it became like really popular there. And then now it seems like there's a slight, I don't know, sort of like gin explosion, like more and more, I think, distilleries are popping up, and a lot of them are doing gins, and there's, just a whole lot out there. So
Is gin simple? Is that why?
it's basically just vodka that's infused with juniper, and then what other botanicals they put in it. So, I mean, in terms of like a lot of distilleries, if they want to do whiskeys and things of that nature, like they have to let them age for a while. So in the interim, they'll start selling vodka and gin because they can just start producing that like right off the bat. They don't have to let it age and do things like that. So
you say botanicals a lot. I know that's the name of your podcast, but
it's also just the ingredients that go in with the gin. So I'm not trying to just...
So tell someone like myself, what are botanicals? Like flowery ingredients?
Yeah, it's just...
Is that what it is?
It's the different ingredients that they infuse into the gin.
And is it infused by dumping it into the liquid?
Well,
is it like a giant tea bag?
I'm not... So I'm not a distiller, at all, but this is my understanding. Sometimes it's done like in the still where they're cooking it off right off the bat. Other times after they've made it, then they also add some botanicals. I don't know exactly how because I've never worked in a distillery, but they like add them after the fact. So there's different ways of getting the botanicals into there.
Okay.
Like there's specific guidelines around something to be like a London dry. And if I remember correctly from a few episodes ago, it's right off the bat what they make. Like they can't add anything to it once they've done the initial like distilling. And that is what qualifies it as like a London dry.
Okay. But I don't know a thing about gin.
Honestly. Well, I know very little, obviously, and now you're quizzing me, so everyone else, the jig will be up on that.
I'm curious.
I just like...
You have a gin podcast, so I'm going to ask some questions.
It's not really the point of this podcast, it's to... Just kidding. Here's the point of the podcast.
Let's see how much you know, Brian.
I'm on a sabbatical. All my friends are working.
Right.
I've discovered... in order to hang out with my friends, if I'm like, hey, you want to come over for some free booze? And I just slap a microphone in between us, they're like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm here.
And so far, I've had 15 fun outings. Well, 14. We'll see how this
that I was going to call early retirement for you, but I know you hate that, so it's still fun to say.
I'm not retired, so...
I mean, close. Your hair is grayer than mine.
That's just due to my hard life, John. My hard life. No, I'm just... It's due to probably poor genetics from my mom's side of the family. I'm just kidding about that, too. I don't know. I just, I have some gray hair for sure.
My hairs are gray.
So.
Yeah, like all the new hair that comes in is gray, except for today. Pumping gas. Sorry, this is a little way off topic, but I'm pumping gas at the BP in this random place in Holland. And I felt something tickle in my ear. So I pulled it, and it's a long black hair. I'm like, what the hell? Like, of all the hairs, why couldn't this one be, like, completely white? less noticeable by people when I'm walking by with this 1-inch rogue hair sticking out of my ear. Because I don't want to be one of those old people with the hair coming out of the ear holes or the nose holes.
Now that you've got one, now you got to start watching out for those all the time. So, welcome to getting older. It's a blast. All right. Well, it's peanuts. I am going to go make our second drink.
Okay. Well, this one's gone down quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's really good. So, we'll be right back. All right, we are back for the second half of the show. We're going to try both of the gins and then start talking about the second gin. But real quick, the first gin, Grey Whale, the drink I made was a gin and tonic.
Yep.
It was with Mediterranean tonic, lime, and then they, on their website, actually called to add some mint. I had just run out of mint, so I was unable to do that for ours. And by running out, I meant it went bad, and I just threw it in the trash because I didn't want to poison you by accident. So,
but okay. Every day is a different day.
That was the first cocktail.
If I don't shit my pants in that day, then it was a good day.
So, let's give the Grey Whale a try straight.
Okay. Now, I'm going to hammer this or just
whatever you want to do. It's whatever you want to do.
I just want to sip on it.
I just sip them. I added a few drops of water. Allegedly, that helps unlock the botanicals. It's pretty smooth. I could almost drink this on the rocks.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I drink bourbon and rye all the time, straight.
Yep.
I don't mix anything with them, but... So my tongue my throat is already accustomed to fire. This is not fiery at all, but I could drink this on ice, and I could see how it would be especially good after the water gets into it a little bit.
Yeah. And I only put a couple drops in, not a lot, so.
But I don't taste botanicals.
Well, there's only 6 of them in there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so it tastes like the migratory path of the gray whale.
The California gray whale.
Yeah, the California gray whale. That's what it tastes like to me.
Yeah, nice. Well, then they did their job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would never imagine drinking a gin straight. I'm used to it being like 50-50, mixed with some kind of tonic, a lime on top. This is surprisingly good. How much water did you put in there?
Like, literally 2 drops.
Really?
Yeah. Like, not much. At all.
So I could put this on ice.
Yeah. And then the ice obviously will then, melt over time and it'll diffuse it even a bit more. So.
I'm going to be honest. I do feel like I can taste that this is vodka based.
Yeah.
Like it tastes like vodka to me.
Well, yeah, bit. Because, that's the base alcohol.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
Good. All right.
Sip of water?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cleanse the palate, as they say.
Yep.
I don't know if they really say that, but...
They do. I don't know who they are, but they do. Okay.
And now we're going to sip this one, which was...
It's called Gold Grail Gin, and I'll talk about it in a second, but give this one a little taste. It's going to be different, I think.
Now, that one tastes more like a forest to me.
Like you're getting more juniper out of it, or more...
Yeah,
something? More something?
More... like what a gin should taste like, I guess. Like, I know gin has juniper in it, of course.
Yes, yep.
And, the old, if you don't like gins, like licking a Christmas tree or whatever, that's what people say. But this tastes like more like plants.
Oh, okay.
But in a pleasant way. Not...
Yeah. Well, it has over twice as many botanicals in it, so I think that might be part of the reason why it tastes a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm no gin connoisseur, as you know, so I came here for you to teach me.
Oh, well, that's... okay, well, that's a mistake on your end.
I'd like to be your fake son, like Spruitt, at some point.
Oh, okay. Well...
The age differential is still there, where we could still be your children if you wanted us to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's whether or not you want to go through the legal process. That's up to you.
Well, I'm having my people...
So many tax deductions for having children.
I know. I'm having my people look into it, so... So, this gin is Gold Grill Gin. As far as I know, it is new for us to be able to get it here in Michigan. This gin comes from Portugal.
Okay.
It has a total of 13 botanicals. The highlight is the gorse flower, Gorse. I'm sure I pronounced it wrong. Native to the Arouca, Arouca region in northwest Portugal. The gin itself is supposed to reflect the concept of the link between the ruggedness of the mountains and the freshness of the sea, with a little tropical touch given by fava tonka, which I had to look up, and it is...
Fava tonka?
Fava tonka, and I was like, what is this? I looked it up. It is a spice that is used in cakes, I believe, in this region in Portugal.
I like cakes.
So this distillery, it's called Destillaria Portuguese, is the distillery. From what I could gather online, it appears to be like a third-party contract distillery. So there wasn't a lot of information. It's located in Setúbal, Portugal, and they distill all sorts of spirits, gin, vodka, brandy, and numerous liqueurs. So unfortunately for today's episode, there was not much information on either distillery. But the gin, the reason I went with this gin is it got recommended to me a couple weeks ago at Rishi's.
Okay.
And so I went in and got it last week.
Is Rishi's paying for this spot right now?
No, but maybe in the future, but I doubt that. So
good plug.
Well, yeah. Well,
for all 14 of us that listen.
Well, yeah, there are more than 3 now, I will say that.
3? So. Yeah, so 14.
So, well, I don't know about that, no, but we'll see.
Your listener population is vast.
So when I was there, they were like, try that gin and try it with elderflower tonic.
Okay.
So I tried this on Saturday night, and that's exactly how I made it. I thought it was really tasty. Give it a try. This is just the gin and the Fever Tree elderflower tonic. Let me know what you think.
That's great.
Yeah, isn't it good?
Oh my God, that's way better than the first one.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
See, I think they're both good, but this one, it was really good.
Do we have to pause again so I can slam this one? You can make me a third one?
Go ahead. I've got more time. And I've got a whole bottle of gin.
So when you said elderflower, I was a little bit excited because I've turned into kind of a puss. I don't drink beer anymore. It's all bourbon, rye. Sometimes I want something else that's not going to be knocking me on my ass. I'll have a seltzer. So a lot of seltzers now are putting things in like lemongrass or elderflower into their flavors. And I like the ones that have elderflower. It doesn't taste like gross Truly or White Claw. Yeah, no, I found the elderflower tonic is a really good complement to some gins. And what I've definitely found over the past 6 months is if it's a blue gin, so like Empress 1908 that I had when Miles was on. Okay. Molly actually got me this gin from Florida, this hibiscus gin that's blue. I think it would be good in that. There's another gin from Brazil. That is actually, I think it's more purple, but I've tried it in that. It's really good. So there's something about that gin, that tonic, especially with the blue gins, that really seems to complement it. Now, what I have found... Is that your number one used tonic? No. For you personally? No, my definitely number one is the Mediterranean Fever Tree. Okay. For sure. Yep. Elderflower and the light premium from Fever Tree would be probably like tied for second. If there's a citrus-based gin, I will definitely go with the citrus tonic, but it's from San Pellegrino. I like their citrus tonic more than the Fever Tree. And then I don't use it often, but my guest from episode 11, Angie, also introduced me. There's this like Oakwood tonic from San Pellegrino as well. And occasionally, if I'm having a hard time matching up a gin to a tonic, like I just feel like I can't quite get it right, I will go to that, and I don't know exactly what they have in it, but it'll just be like the skeleton key that like unlocks it, and all of a sudden I'm just like, wow, that is super good. So those would be my top 5 tonics. One of the things that you've enlightened me to by drinking gin with you is like, all these artisan tonics. Yeah, it's not just going to get your blue bottle at Meijer and filling it half and throwing a lime in it. There's more to it than that. Yeah, and I think a tonic makes a huge difference. Like I can, if you can take a good gin and put a bad tonic with it and make a not a great drink, and you can take like an average gin and mix a good tonic with it, and you've got a good drink. In my opinion. So is it the tonic that's making this drink right now? Is that why I'm blown away, or is it really the gin? Because I think the gin is really interesting, and this tonic just seems to complement it very well. The gin was interesting on its own. Yes. When I sipped on it. Yep. I could tell that there was more to it than the Gray Whale. Now, what I have found is some gins have like elderflower as a botanical, but often if I try to use then the elderflower tonic to go with it, it's not as good. It's like almost too much. So I don't tend to use the elderflower tonic if I know the gin has elderflower in it. I'll use right on. I'll use like the light or like the Mediterranean, where it's kind of just it's low key on that. It's not adding like more elderflower to it. So I'm going to go back a few sentences. You mentioned Portugal, London, obviously, but you also said like Brazil. Like gins made around the world, it sounds like. I thought it was like a regional thing. It is not. So I stumbled upon this app called Ginventory. And so you can search for different like... You almost made me spit that drink out. It's really called Ginventory. It's really called Ginventory. Oh my goodness. You can search like for different gins
in it. Guess how many different gins are in there. Not distilleries, because a distillery could have maybe 2 to 10 different gins. But guess, just ballpark, what you think, how many gins would be searchable in this?
11,000.
Okay, I would not have guessed that high at all. So that's more than what I would do. I would have guessed like 2,500 to 3,000.
Okay.
Right now in it, it's about 7,500.
I was close.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
But there are some gins, like, I punched into there to look up, and they're not in there. So there's obviously even more gins than what that thing has in there currently.
It was an educated guess based on how you asked me the question.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
you
it was
were excited about, guess how many.
Well, it was just, like, way more than I thought.
Yeah.
So, hypothetically, if I averaged 2 gins a show, I could crank out about, as more gins come out, I could probably crank out 4,000 of these. I don't have that many friends, so I'm going to have to start having people.
You don't have that many years either, buddy.
Oh, I do. I can crank these out. I'm taking good care of myself. Don't you worry about that. Hence the sabbatical. No joke, I am in the best shape I've been in, and I bet you
you look great.
Oh, well, thanks.
You do look great. I've gained like 10
years.
pounds since you probably seen me last.
That's not true. You look good. But I've been much more intentional about taking better care of myself this year, and I think it's been paying off. So
I still have to go do my first colonoscopy.
It's pretty crappy.
Yeah, I've heard.
It is not. Actually,
I'm 47, and they changed the age to 45.
Which is good.
Right, and I should go get it done. It was just brought to my attention the other day that, yes, you should go do this because of these things. And, yeah.
Yep. So, and everyone says it, but it's the truth because I've gone through it. The prep is 10 times worse than you don't even remember the actual thing. Like, you're just like...
Okay. You're out the whole time?
Oh, I mean, I was like, whatever you need to pump in me. Like, I don't want to...
Whatever you want to pump into me. Those words are not something I want to hear from you ever again, Brian.
But I was like, I don't want to remember this at all. But you just don't. And it was...
Is it
not
true?
Fun prepping for it.
Because I've seen this like on TikTok and stuff. Is it true they won't allow you to leave until you fart?
No, I would say that's not true.
I heard it was like something with, they wanted to make sure that you could pass gas before you could leave after the procedure.
Well, so let me say this. I don't remember that, but you're also still like, kind of like on drugs when
sure.
The stuff is still wearing off. So that could have been a thing that I don't recall, but I honestly do not remember that being part of what would allow me to leave there.
Okay, because if that's true, there's a select group of people that I'd want to take with me.
Yes.
And probably record the event for me.
Oh,
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, I don't think
I wouldn't be able to record.
You don't want to do that. Now, what I did find...
I don't know. I think I do want to.
So
I'm curious
what I did
about
sort of find funny about mine was, like, within a week of me going in for the procedure, I get a card in the mail. For real. From, like, the team. And they were like... I can't even remember what it said outside of cute tush, and then a bunch of the nurses signed off on it. But
get the fuck out of here.
No, for real. I got a card from them like, hope you're doing well, or thanks for coming in, or what it was. I was like, well, that's different. It was very nice of them.
A different style of rub and tug that I'm not familiar with that one.
It was very...
pushing
very
all
nice,
the stuff.
Very nice customer service.
We're going to view up in there, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, you just want to make sure everything's okay, and, if it's preventable.
And your deductible was like your charge for the rub and tug, so good job.
So, but anyhow, that I found that to be rather humorous, getting that. So, okay. Second round, gin trivia.
Okay.
I will ask you.
I don't know anything about this. This is going to be...
You're a really good guesser. I've hung out with you before.
Okay.
And I've been with you when you've played trivia before, so I'm not... Okay. I think you have a chance at this one. London once had a thriving gin industry. However, at the end of the 20th century, which brand was the city's sole producer? Oh, it's a multiple choice.
Okay.
Beefeater, Gordon's, or Tanqueray?
Ooh.
And I can read it again if you want.
Just the question, please.
Yeah. London once had a thriving gin industry. However, at the end of the 20th century, Which brand was the city's sole producer? Beefeater, Gordon's, or Tanqueray?
I have an idea, but can I phone a friend?
What do you mean? You're going to call somebody?
I'm going to call Scrace. He'd probably know. He's a bartender for years.
So here's what I think is odd about this question.
Okay.
All these gins were still being produced.
Okay.
I think what they're saying is, like, only one of them was still actually making it in London.
Yep, I got that.
Okay. So
I don't know if
is he going to pick up?
Maybe. We could try. Is this going to ruin your podcast?
No, not at all. Just see if he's there, and if not, then you have to guess.
Let's see. Yeah, I will guess. Let's see. Go to my favorites. I'll warn him that he's on a podcast.
Scrace used to be a bartender at O'Toole's, is this correct?
Yep.
Which is a bar on the west side of Grand Rapids. He's probably going to see it's you and not pick up.
No, he'll pick up.
If he sees it's you?
He could be at the cottage. I forget that it's July 4th week.
I'm surprised he just hasn't put you in a voicemail.
That bastard would never put me in a voicemail.
Hello, you've reached David.
Total fail.
Yeah.
All right, I hang up.
All right.
And I will...
Good try. All right. You
I'm
got
gonna
a
go with,
33.3333% chance.
I think I'm going to go with Gordon's.
Wow. No.
Beefeater?
Beefeater.
Yeah, damn it.
Beefeater.
thought
That
it was
was a
one of the
tough
two.
question, though. Like, because they're all still being made, but that was a tough one.
Thanks, Dave, for not answering your phone. Appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah. We can call him out.
I bet you if I ask him later when we're done with this,
How
He'll
do
be
you
like,
know?
"Oh, yeah."
Does he know where that stuff's being produced?
his family is from England, actually.
Well, so is mine, but I wouldn't have been able to guess that. I mean, part of mine. But I
Yeah,
couldn't
he's
have told
only
you, like,
second
who's-
generation here.
I couldn't... He's what?
Second generation here.
Second?
Mm-hmm. His mom was born in England. He still
Whereabouts,
travels there.
do you know?
I do not know. I wish I could tell you that, but yeah. He still has cousins over there that they visit every once in a while. His cousins have come here to Grand Rapids.
That's cool.
I've hung out with one of them at O'Toole's.
Does he still live over here on the west side by me? Or did he...
He moved from that 6th Street house, which
Okay.
I called the Scrace space. I labeled it on Google Maps one year, and I found out recently that it's still pinned as the Scrace space, his old house. Anyway, no, he moved across from the mines, so the other side of Colville.
Oh, so he's not that far, just the other
No.
side of that golf course.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay.
Little subdivision,
Yeah.
north side of the road, or
Nice.
west side of the road.
Does he still just have the one kid?
Yeah, Walter.
Okay, Walter. Oh, that's nice.
Spitting image of that man.
That was my, is he a little Scrace?
Yeah, he's a little Scrace. I think
Walter,
it's
that
awesome.
was my dad's name. My Grandpa Walt. So, nice. Okay. Are you ready for Off the Beaten Path?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, we talked about it and decided I would go first.
Yep.
So my selection for this episode is a trilogy. It's a book trilogy, but there is a slight cheat coming up for our listeners.
Okay,
I'll explain.
I'm so busy now. I don't read anymore. So this would be very enlightening too.
So do you like science fiction?
Of course,
You do? Okay. I am not typically a huge science fiction fan, but...
science fiction brings all of our tools and devices, buddy.
What'd you say?
Science fiction brings all of our tools and devices.
You mean like the ideas that get presented in science fiction eventually end up becoming
Absolutely.
something that we
Like your-
utilize? Where's my flying
your
car,
phone.
John? Where's my flying car?
Just released, first flying car, tilts 90 degrees so it can propel itself forward.
I don't believe it. So
Yeah,
until I'm
I'll believe
zipping
it when I
around
see
like
it,
in
too.
Blade Runner.
I was told when I was in kindergarten that at the year 2000, we'd all be in flying vehicles, and that's just another one of my life's disappointments, because that never came true. We are 23 years past 2000.
It's probably good because could you imagine people like how are they going to regulate that? It's bad enough people driving on streets.
I was going to say, like, the people that are, we had to develop a law so that we're not looking at our devices. That came June 30th, right?
It just started.
Yeah,
First of this month. Yeah.
Don't look at your device while you're driving. But if people are flying around and they're looking at their device,
well, here's the other thing.
get rid of the stupid people. That's what we do. We
here's
get rid
the
of the
other
stupid
thing
people.
I find humorous. They're like, you can't use your phone, but I can plug my phone into like Apple CarPlay, and there's still a display on my screen.
Yep.
So I can monkey around with that while I'm driving.
There's truth to that, but I have been trying to be good since June 30th. We're at the 5th. Today, my dad's birthday today, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Kuipers.
Yeah. Big John. I'm Little John.
It's the best month of the year to be born. That is for sure.
Yeah, the fireworks are for him every year, or so he says. But the fact that you can just hit a button to be on the phone, or in my car's case, I can hit a button and then dictate a text.
Yeah,
That's great. Versus like having it down in your lap, you're still steering going 79 miles an hour.
Oh, no, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's still... I still feel it's a slight distraction. Mm-hmm. But sort of let they let the genie out of the bottle. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to make auto companies like take that away. Like, that's not
How
going to
many
happen.
soccer moms are going to get tickets over the end of the month every month?
Well, we should have a surplus in the budget this
Yeah,
year,
no
so.
shit.
Okay. My pick is a trilogy. It is actually written by a Chinese author. It is called The Three-Body Problem.
Oh, I started the first book.
Did you? Okay.
I did, absolutely.
I ended up reading it. I was slightly concerned initially about how is this translation going to be. But the person who translated it did an amazing job. There are 3 books. I would recommend the whole trilogy, actually, because the first book...
I'm actually waiting for this to become a movie series.
Yes, thanks for ruining my little
I'm so
sheet.
sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I told you I don't
you're
read.
Totally fine. The first book, The Three-Body Problem, actually out of the trilogy was my least favorite of the 3.
Okay, because I gave up.
Yeah.
Moving into the second.
Yes. The second and the third are, in my opinion, better. Like, the story just gets better. Now, it's tough because as you go along, each book gets a little denser. Like, they just get bigger and bigger. High-level overview. An alien civilization called the Solaris, which is on the brink of destruction, has decided that they are going to invade Earth. People on Earth are able to find out that this is happening. So some people want to embrace that this alien civilization is coming our way. Others want to like defeat them and not have them like come this way. So the world starts to kind of like split along these lines. This is kind of the gist of book 1. Mm-hmm. But due to how long it takes to travel through space, the Earth has a long time to kind of get ready for this. So in the second book, humanity is looking for ways to defeat them, and they're also looking to defeat these things called sophons, which are these subatomic particles that grant Solaris instant access to all human knowledge. So imagine basically just having spies like everywhere. So humanity decides to find 4 men to come up with a way to defeat them, and they're given like unprecedented access to whatever they need, but everything is like kept in secret, like 4 different theories of what they're going to do.
Wasn't there recruitment based on how well they did on a video game or something on that?
No,
order?
that was the first book, which is actually the way that the aliens were trying to contact people to see if they would be open to them coming here. So
I remember that aspect of it. I also remember a detective that liked to smoke cigarettes.
Correct. That is also yes in the first one. So yes. So the second book is called The Dark Forest, and then the third book, which is called Death's End, it's kind of, the book is looking to like wrap up the whole series, but it's an amazing trilogy. Like, I haven't read many things like this. The topics are super big picture. Like, I don't know how this, I mean, you talk about like world building. This is like universe building. It was a pretty amazing thing to read. And like I said, in my opinion, it got better as you went along. The Three-Body Problem was a good book, but I feel Dark Forest and Death's End are definitely better. As it goes along, this series gets better.
I also recall, like, there's a ship that was traveling through the Panama Canal that got sliced. As it traveled through, they couldn't see, like, the thing that sliced it.
Yes, I
There's something
think that was in book 1.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Book 1 is my only
It's been a couple of years, since
I gave up.
So.
They were also very long reads. The person that you should speak to
they are big books
about this is Eric Holgren. Do you remember Eric?
Oh, yeah.
From our Game of Thrones nights?
Yep.
Yeah, he is a massive reader. He tracks how many books he reads in a year.
Oh,
and we're talking, I'm pretty sure he's hit 100. That could be a little bit embellished. I'm not sure. But you should contact him outside of this.
So, he
recommended the 3-body problem to me years ago.
Oh, yeah. It's good. I mean, I definitely recommend it. Now, the slight little cheat coming out, as you had mentioned, this is going to be a series on Netflix. And the 3-body problem, the first book, is coming out, I believe, later this year. Like,
really?
There is now a trailer that is available for it.
You're blowing my mind right now because I've wanted this to become like a movie trilogy.
In fact, and funny speaking about Eric and Game of Thrones, I believe it's by 2 of the lead guys from Game of Thrones.
Weird.
Who are heading up this project.
Full circle.
So the funny thing is, though, I watched this trailer, and then last week I was out with my buddy Brian Place, who was our guest in episode 3, and I'm talking about this, and I'm like, I don't know, man, the trailer was just kind of so lit. And he goes, no, it's the trailer for the first book. And then I was like, oh, right. They're filming these.
Searching this out.
They're filming these one series per book, of course, obviously. Yeah. So anyhow, if you don't have time to read, or if you're not a big reader, you will also get to enjoy this if you would like, coming up, and I believe it's later this year, or definitely the first part of next year, as a series on Netflix.
Well, I'm going to take the cop-out version and watch it because I really don't have much time to read.
Yeah, no,
other than before I go to bed, circling through like my phone to see like what's the new thing that Google offers me anyway.
Yeah, but so I hope they do a good job with it. But that is my selection for this episode for Off the Beaten Path, the 3-Body Problem trilogy by the author's name is Lou Cecin.
Yeah, he has I thought 2 names. One was his English variation name, and the other one was damn near impossible.
No, but they pronounce it like they flip it around. So what if I would normally read it as Cecin Lou, but when I listen to it on YouTube, they pronounce.
Okay.
I guess it would be the last name first, but I'm not exactly sure how the Chinese language.
Can we pause works. So I can have another drink before I have my Off the Beaten Path?
We can do that. How about this?
Yes,
why don't we try? Would you like to try
a 3rd gin?
Well, no. What I was going to say is, would you like to try this gin, but with the Mediterranean tonic to see how?
Yes,
that
I
is?
would. Okay. I'd like to see the difference there.
All right, we will take a slight pause for a beverage concoction, and we will be right back. Okay, we're back. We are having a 3rd drink. It is the Gold Grill Gin, but this time with the Mediterranean tonic. So
we'll see.
Let me see what you think about that.
Smells different, for sure.
So I have my opinion, but I'll let you go first.
Still good, but I like the elderflower better.
Me too. Let's go throw these in the trash.
No, here, I'll drink both.
I'm just kidding.
Go get your water. I'll drink yours too.
I would agree that elderflower is a better complement tonic to this gin.
But this is still great.
It's still good. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't hesitate to serve this, but knowing...
So let's talk about price points then for these gins. I have no idea what gin costs. I know what bourbons and rye cost based on...
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Manufacturer and so on, but...
It can run the gamut.
The Grey Whale.
These 2 gins, if I remember correctly, are a similar price point. They're both probably ballpark $35 a bottle.
Okay. Yeah. And my limit, unless I'm buying something extra special, is $60 for a bourbon or a rye.
Yeah.
You're in the $30 range. It's not that great. But I'll drink Jameson all day for $30. I had speaking of Jameson, totally off tangent here. Bartender in Rockford at a place that I won't name. I asked for an Irish coffee.
Okay.
They had no idea what to do there.
Oh.
And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never heard of that before. I was like, you've never
Were
heard
you
of
at
this?
an English pub?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Nope. It was named after a body of water that goes through Rockford.
Oh.
And young man, I would say 21, 22. I said, black coffee, throw some Jameson in it. There you go. That's the Irish coffee that I want.
And was he able to do that for you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, after I explained it to him. But, I mean, that's not my job. I don't want to be one of these elitist motherfuckers. I'd be like, I'm telling you how to do your job, so I'm not going to tip you. But I'm just like, dude, that's a basic one.
Yeah, but if no one's ever asked for it before, and...
Yeah, maybe. Right.
You know.
That place happens to be like local band night. Bunch of moms dancing, flashing their stuff.
They have free popcorn, so I do like that.
They do have free popcorn.
So I do like that.
Still have free popcorn.
Mm-hmm. I am a fan of that. Okay.
Sorry, I can go off all day.
No, we're good. So, your selection, this episode,
the beaten path.
Off the beaten path.
Off the beaten path, that's right. So mine's Man at Arms. You got to see my buddies play, at the intersection.
Oh, you mean the band we just went and saw?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that was...
what did you think, first of all?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Yep.
It was a 2-man band.
Mm-hmm.
I will be honest with you, I was slightly thrown off.
Really?
But here's why. You were like, hey, they're playing down at the intersection, which for listeners who are not from Grand Rapids, it's a small venue.
Right.
Probably holds a couple hundred.
500 in the main area.
In the main area.
Yeah, these guys were in the front.
So 2 things.
Called the Stash.
When you said intersection, I thought main area.
Yeah.
So we go in.
I just wanted you to get to the right venue.
Nope, that's fine. And they're over in the Stash, which is like a little side venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I look, but I see you, and I'm like, oh, they must be right here.
Yeah. I did not clarify that. Yeah.
No, you were fine.
Who knows who was playing?
And
the actual intersection.
You would call Jen and I when we were out to dinner, and so we came down and we got there during the show of the band that was before them. So we came into that part, and I went up and chatted with you, and you were like, "Hey, the band I wanted you to see, they're coming up next, and I really like them."
Perfect timing.
And you had said, "I really like this drummer,
Ted Prosnos." Yep. Actually,
and you were both. Like, kind of keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up being a 2-man band. I watched them. I was completely unfamiliar with them.
Yeah, which is great. That's why I'm asking your opinion now.
So, I had a hard time understanding what the lead singer was singing during that show.
Does not matter.
Okay.
Eric.
Is that the lead singer?
Yep, Eric Gallipo, Ted Prosnos. I've known these guys for over 20 years.
Okay.
The way we met them, Scuba Steve and I were roommates at the Brook Meadow that's on Kennewa, off of 44th, across from the Walmart.
Okay.
We were on the main floor. And Ted and Eric were across the hall. And I could hear Ted had this contraption that he would drum indoors. He wasn't drumming on a real kit. He would drum on pads that he had contorted off of a stand so that he could just still practice but not make a shit ton of noise.
Okay.
And so I was curious. Wound up playing a lot of video games in that apartment, specifically Tiger Woods and it may have been NHL 2K, something like that. One day Eric asked me, he's like, "Hey, if you're into music like this, we're gonna play at Stooges." I believe it was Stooges. Thursday nights, local band night. Stooges is now Rendezvous. Yeah,
I think Stooges was here when I first moved to Grand Rapids, but quickly was not around after I'd been here. I never went there.
So they were friends, neighbors at that point. I'd never heard their music. I'm not into traditional music. Went to go see them for the first time at Stooges. Was friends with some other traveling musicians at the time, and one of them was a female drummer who was based out of Vancouver, BC. And I remember, this is before smartphones, I remember not having high expectations. And then Ted and Eric got on, and they just blew me away. I remember going straight to my phone, time port. It was a Motorola time port, flipping it open, dialing up this girl, Jen Foster, that I know, and being like, hey, are you busy? She's like, no, I'm not busy. And I'm trying to, I'm pushing my phone at the stage. I said, listen to these guys. They're amazing. And I held it there for a minute. And then I put it up to my ear and I said, did you hear any of that? She's like, no, I heard nothing. This is the first parts of background noise deletion with technology, right? So I held that thing up there for a minute. And she didn't get anything. Anyway, they played to everything that I would want a band to be. And they're great drumming, great guitarist. What I think is special about them is that they face each other on stage. Eric pumps his guitar through 2 different amps, so all the low end is going through one amp, the high end's going through another amp, which makes it sound like a 3-piece band. Ted plays on a 4-piece kit that he built himself. His drumming is of a different nature for me. He makes a 4-piece kit sound like it's much larger than it really is. They don't play often. They did back in the early 2000s, but they don't play often now, and I found out that they're going to have another show. At one point, Ted lived in Cleveland. Eric lived in the Ann Arbor area. I think it may have been Ypsilanti. He's flopped back and forth between Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti. But anyway, they would book shows, but they wouldn't practice. So they would show up at the show, and
just start playing.
It was a jam session.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both very technical, very good at what they do. Everything that they've done over the past 20-some years, I just jam out. I love it. I was, person I was with was taking photos of me because she's not really used to seeing me do that. But every single song, I was right at the front of the stage and just
it was
crazy.
As excited as I've seen you in quite a while. I mean, you were definitely into it. What impresses me, and not that they sound this way, but when you think of other 2-people bands, I always think of White Stripes, right? Mm-hmm. And when you listen to the White Stripes, and you listen to that music, and you're like, wait, this is just 2 people, doing this?
Right.
It was the same sort of thing, it's just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
But if you were to, I think walk in, if you weren't looking at the stage, if you walk in, your initial impression is not going to be, that's only 2 guys up on stage.
No. No, they are very full.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan for over 20 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's
They're still friends.
And again, they are called?
Man at Arms.
Men or man?
Man at Arms.
Man at Arms.
So I will say...
Do they have any albums out or anything like that?
They do, many. Years and years ago, I was involved with a local record label here in Grand Rapids called Friction Records. And I put out a couple of their albums. And it wasn't anything to make money. It was just trying to get local artists, give them 1,000 CDs, let them travel with them and sell them, whatever. We tried to split the proceeds there. But anything that was Man at Arms related, I wanted my name on it. And their recordings are done local people that, I think they know their sound. They're just... The recordings are not as good as their live sound. The recordings are way too churched up, trying to make them sound too clean. They are not a clean sounding band as far as they're technical, but I don't want them to sound clean. I want them, they're like a Fugazi shellac type of ambiance. And yeah, I get so excited when I know that I'm going to watch them live.
No,
I actually got a text from Eric, and he's like, hey, we're going to be there June 17th. Are you interested? And I was like, hell yeah, Mitch. I drop everything. Got a babysitter. Normally I don't do that kind of shit, but yeah, I was pumped.
No, I appreciate you giving us a call. We got to check them out, and it was a fun little show, so that is a very good off the beaten path. So thank you so much.
Right on.
Thanks for being a guest. Appreciate it.
This is the end?
This is the end.
Oh, damn it.
I know.
Well, we can catch up after this, too.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you very much for coming on.
This was fun, Brian.
Well, good. I'm glad you had a nice time.
I'm glad your sabbatical is drinking with your friends and recording the conversation.
Best idea I've ever had.
Absolutely.
All right. We will catch you next time. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to subscribe to us on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts. Also, I want to take a quick minute to thank Darin VanderMolen for all of his help behind the scenes. Without him, this podcast probably wouldn't even exist, and his help is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a great week, and we will look forward to seeing you the next time we go down the botanical trails. This has been a Shits and Giggles production.